Unnamed Memory episode 1. And boy, what a great episode this was. I mean, to start the anime with this episode, I think it is great because it makes the episode and the anime a lot more interesting because this first episode will definitely captivate a lot of people. It did captivate me, so there's that. So yeah, this was one of those animes that I was planning to watch before the season started. I was reading the synopsis of the anime and it seemed interesting. I wanted to give it a try and maybe review the first episode, which I'm already doing. And I'm glad I did it because this is I guess one of the best animes I think will premiere in this season. It is definitely up there because I mean this first episode was very good. It didn't have that much, I guess you can say, action, although there were some little scenes here and there that were action. But in general it was more focused on storytelling, on world building than anything else, which I think it is perfectly fine because I think that is what a first episode should do. It should not be, all about action or all about, something very similar. It is not bad if it has it, but it has to be complemented with other, I guess you can say, things. For example, in this case, story building, a lot of talk, a lot of back and forth between our two main characters, which I think was good actually. So yeah, this first episode was very good because of that, because it had a very, I guess you can say, balanced way of handling things. He had this, he had that, and in general, it made the episode very good. So yeah, this anime is very, I don't know how you can say it, weird to describe, although I mean not really now that I think about it, because I mean it might seem complicated at first, but when you really read the synopsis of the anime, when you really watch again this first episode, I think it becomes very clear what this anime will be all about. It is going to be about, action, adventure, fantasy, and of course romance. So yeah, I think that is what this anime is going to be about, and the story is going to be about our main character Oscar and also our other main protagonist Tinasha going around fighting people, maybe fighting the Witch of Silence, I think that is her name, because Oscar wants her to basically lift the curse, although we find out in this episode that she cannot actually do that. So because of that, Oscar basically tells her that because she cannot do that, she will now have to basically grant him the other wish that he has, and his other wish is basically for her to become his wife. Although she doesn't actually accept that, she accepts another offer that Oscar presented, which is basically for her to live a year in his castle. So yeah, that is the other proposal that he had in this episode, and I mean she accepted it because we see in this episode by the way she was acting that she's actually a very kind-hearted witch. I think she's the witch of the Azure Moon or something like that. And yeah, we see that in this episode it was mentioned by her familiar, I think that is what it is, that she is actually very kind-hearted, because even though there are some people that don't actually make it to the top of the tower, she still grants some wishes, she still heals people, she still does some stuff, and also she doesn't even heal anyone that goes to the tower. She doesn't want anyone dead. So yeah, that is actually also very, I guess you can say, unique of her, because I don't think the other witches are like her. I don't think the other witches, especially the Witch of Silence, are as nice as her. I think she's the exception. Maybe the other witches are a little bit more of a balance, maybe not so much bad but also not as good as this witch, as as Tinasha. So yeah, with all that being said, I think Tinasha is actually a very well, nice written character. I think a lot of people will like her character in this anime. I think she's definitely one of those female protagonists that will definitely be spoken a lot in this season, because I mean yeah, she's very, I guess you can say, well yeah, nice, I mean very good. So I mean that makes the episode even better, and I think that will make the anime even better. And, the interaction that they had, Tinasha and Oscar, is also very well written, because it is not one-sided. They are going back and forward. They are very, I guess you can say, unique in the sense that everything they say, everything they do, it is very funny. It has a lot of comic relief. So yeah, I think that is also great because it makes the anime and the episode more interesting. It is not a stale talk. It is not a talk that is boring or anything like that. Even though there is a lot of, really important information that is being said in the episode, the fact that they are both, very funny and they complement each other very well makes the episode not boring. Which normally you would have an episode that is a little bit boring and you have all the elements that this episode presented. But because again, this episode had characters that are very well suited for each other, it makes the dynamic of the episode very, I guess you can say, well yeah, dynamic. It makes it very fun to watch. So yeah, I was mentioning the episode that the curse that the Witch of Silence imparted upon Oscar was a curse that don't actually let him reproduce. I was actually taken aback when I heard what the curse was all about, because I thought it was going to be something out of a horror movie or something very bad, for example that he was going to die or something like that. But no, it was actually something very different. It was actually that he cannot reproduce. Yeah, that made me very surprised. That for me he came out of nowhere. I guess it is also just as bad as dying, because if you want to have kids, then I guess this is bad, because I mean that means that you were not able to do that. So I mean, yeah, it depends on what type of person you are, and because of that, the whole proposal of Oscar to Tinasha comes about. So yeah, I mean, that was a main factor or main thing that was influential in this episode. Of course it was, because I mean, this curse is the biggest thing driving the plot, so of course it was going to have a big effect in this first episode. And it was also mentioned that, you know, Oscar also has a very weird magical sword, not so much weird but very strong magical sword, and this sword is apparently able to negate all sort of magic. So yeah, I mean, he may seem, you know, very simple, like a simple warrior, but he's actually very strong. I mean, that sword alone makes him very strong. And yeah, he may not be as strong, you know, magically speaking, as a witch, but the sword alone makes up for the fact that he may be lacking in other departments. So I mean, yeah, that is also interesting. I mean, yeah, let's see what happens in the next episode, because I think, you know, her going to the castle is going to be very interesting. So yeah, I mean, this episode, I have been saying it throughout the whole review, was very good, was very great. So yeah, those were my thoughts. That was my opinion on the first episode. And yeah, I mean, this anime seems to be like it's going to be a very good one, and hopefully I'm going to review the next episode. If everything goes right, I will definitely be reviewing the next episode. So yeah, I hope that happens. And yeah, if you don't want to miss any episode reviews, please subscribe to the channel. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, that will be everything by me, and I guess I'll see you all in the next episode review.